Hello, beautiful people of the internet. Here is Gigonauta, and I'm here to show you guys a deck that I'm working on to some locals here in Recife, Brazil. And well, it's a Despia Bystial branded deck. Pretty straightforward, a deck that it's a meta. So let's start it. So first off, we have 3 Falling of Elbas. It's pretty straightforward, and some decks are using 2, but I'm just using 3 because 2 elements, and I want this guy to be on mostly on the deck for Branded Fusion if I by any chances. Mill 1 or Mill 2 I still have 3. I still have the other one. So 1 Albion. This guy is insane because in my hand or in graveyard it's another card in hand. So, and it's a way to just put some cards that I need in the graveyard, hence Branded Regain or the other track that I've just forgot, but we'll see which card it is. I just forgot the name. We have 3 Aluber because it's pretty standard too. This guy is the main searcher for our deck, so this guy just finds anything that we want to our hand, from the deck to our hand, and well, if this guy does not bait a Ash, the Branded Fusion baits. So there are another interactions with this too, when we just reborn it from the grave, or use its effect again, or anyways, with, well, there are a lot of ways to abuse this guy. So yeah, pretty straightforward. We have 3 of these. So another card that we have a 3 of is the Tragedy. This build that I'm using have 44 cards, and I'm using to there's a reason that I'm using 3 instead of 2 or any other, because I'm using Allure. So I prefer to run 3 of this guy because it's another extender that I can use. And then we have 1 Ad Libitum and 1 Dramaturge. Dramaturge is a very strong card that if I go in the route with Lebellion, like Branded Fusion, sending a Falling of Vipers and a Bystial Rebellion, and then making Albion. The Albion makes if I have this card in hand, I can make the Fusion Rebellion with it, and then I just can bring it back to the field, and then I will have a negate for basically extra deck monsters. It's really good against tier elements because I can just negate the Kid Colors effect. It's, well, and that Libitum is just a tech card that helps me to extend my turns, just bringing back another fusion. So for the Bestial package, I have 2 Bestial Rebellions. This card is fucking nuts. It's a very strong card. It has 3 actually 2 effects and 1 summon condition that can bring it back from the graveyard. It's really powerful. Mostly if I just have it in hand, I just can just discard and get a Bestial from the deck to my hand, and if it's on graveyard, I can tribute a dragon monster on inside of the field, just to sorry, I just say it has 2 effects in the summon condition. It actually has 3 effects in the summon condition. because one effect you can discard it and get a Bystial. You can on the the summon condition from the graveyard. I just need to tribute a dragon to put it on the field, and then on the field I can activate it to get a spell trap, continuous spell trap branded card to the field. So yeah, exactly. It is actually 2 effects and a summon condition. So I was correct. I was right. So well, this card is really good. It's a little expensive here in Brazil. It actually is, I think, something around 300 reais, and well, I just bought one and the other I just got in the booster, so I was really lucky about that. So moving on, we have 2 Drusorm, 2 Saronir, and unfortunately 1 Magnamut. I wish I had 3 of this, but this guy it's a little expensive too in here in Brazil. Something around 180, something around that. And that's the reason that I don't have 2, but I would definitely have 3 of this. Saronir, I don't use it much often, but I know it's a really good card, especially if I'm wanting to set up a banded beast on my side of the field, because I can just with it I can just send the branded regain to the graveyard. And Drusorm it's a good interaction on the turn of the opponent. So some tech cards or hand traps. I just run 2 Mercurier and 2 Ash Blossom. Here in Brazil, I know that mostly of the locals outside of Brazil, people are not running Ash Blossom, but here in Brazil there is a lot of people still running it, and the reason is that here we just like to have this card because it's a card that no one is expecting, actually, because a lot of the deck techs and meta analysis that we have are coming from outside of Brazil, and a lot of meta decks and meta calls too. So people are just not running Ash Blossom here because they think that it's not necessary. But this card just wins me a lot of games, especially on mirror matches when another branded deck tries to make a branded fusion and just get Ash Blossom. So it's a really good card. I'm adding these 4 cards on my 44 build because I think it's necessary. In Mercurier, I'm using actually 2 because I'm running a lure, and this card when it's banished is it's just another plus for me. So that was the monsters. Moving on to the spells. 3 Branded Opening, a really good card. There's not much to say about it. In the graveyard, just protects my fusions. I can discard a card and then just get a Despia. And especially with the Saronir and Albion and other cards that and tragedies and stuff. Cards that I can discard and make another effects. This card is really good. I don't see any deck that can run this card run less than 3 of it. Branded Fusion because it is it is a meta, and there is no need to run less than 3/2. No need to explain the card as well. So the 2 ofs, I have 2 Dark Lord or more in the main because I prefer to have it on the game 1, especially with some rogue decks that are running on my locals. There is a guy that is running a Yumi control deck, and I just hate that jellyfish that negates the effects of my monsters. So that's for that, and for another decks that are running as well, such as Ignister and some other shenanigans that are running on the locals. So I decided to add 2. I'm running 2 Super Polys as well. I would run 3, but I just have 2. So, well, it's a really good card. It removes tower monsters. It removes some tier element monsters that are a pain to remove. It removes a lot of stuff. It's a really good card. I'm just running 2 because I just have 2. I'm running 2 Allure 2. I have another that is in a store that I didn't get it, but I would probably add another one because I have a lot of targets for it, and most of my monsters are dark, so it's not a problem to just use it and wait to get a monster on the draw just to banish it. Well, and it's a good card. It gets me advantage. So there's actually a combo in the deck with the Allure and Mercurier in the trap card. So moving on to the one of spells. I have 1 Brandon in red, 1 the Despot Theater, and 1 Cobble the Grave. Well, Brandon in red, I'm just running 1 because I don't have Chimera, and I don't see the reason to run more than 1 if you don't have Chimera. It's a good card. It's a card that saves me. It saved me sometimes when I was playing, and especially when it triggers some banishment or Ishizu effects to return cards from the graveyard to the deck. I can just pop this card as a counter and just get a fusion. It's a really good card. The Despot Theater is a card that I don't use often, but I know it has value, especially with its second fact that if a monster that is not a fusion just I think it's destroyed. Let me just read a little quick. Yeah, it's if a monster just leaves the field by an opponent's card effect or it's destroyed by battle, I can just choose a fusion monster with level 8 or more from my graveyard and just special summon it. It's a really good second effect. Most people just remember the first effect, that it's good as well, but I think the second effect is really awesome. And Cobble the Grave because, as I said, the meta here in Brazil, especially in the locals that I go, there are a lot of hand traps, so it's good to have a Cobble the Grave. Especially too because of the tier elements matches as well. So the other one-offs are Branded Lost, Branded Regained, and a Foolish Burial. I'm running Foolish Burial because, well, I have 3 Tragedies, I have some Bystials to send, I have some cards that make good effects on the graveyard, or just are good to set it on the graveyard, like the Bystial Lubellion, for example. If I don't open with a way to get a Branded Fusion and just send the Bystial Lubellion to the graveyard and then continue to summon it on the field, I can just use the Foolish Burial to get it to the graveyard. Yeah, Branded Regain is just part of the combo with the Bystial Lubellion, so it's a really good card with the Bystials, and the Branded Loss is a meltdown for the branded, and it's a really good card as well. So that's the reason that I'm running it. So for the trap cards, one Branded Beast, the combo with the Bystials and the Bystial Rebellion. Branded, I think it's Retribution. I don't remember the English name for this card, but if I remember correctly, it's Branded Retribution. That card is really nice because I can just banish it and get another branded fusion or another branded spell or trap card from the grave to my hand, and the fact that it negates spells and traps and effect monsters that were going to special summon monster is really it's a really good card. Especially if I can set up in the first turn with a, let's say, a Albion. When I just tribute the Albion for the Bystial Rebellion, just set it from my deck, and then when the tier elements is going to pop out, I would just counter it with this, especially with the effects that are going to from the grave, like the terrain or any other monster from the tier elements. I think it's a good card. And then Branded Sword. This guy there is a bit of a combo with it, and the Lure and the Mercurier. It's a good card, but this card is just here because it has this combo with the Allure. With it, I could just add 3 cards total. If I had 2 Allures, I could have 5 new cards in my hand. I can just show this combo when I'm doing some combo tech for this deck. Not in this video actually. So that was the main deck, 44 cards. So let's move on to the extra deck. For the extra deck we have 2 Mirror Jade. It's pretty standard 2. I don't know if I would just cut one. Probably not. It's a good card and I don't see any reason for that. 2 Albion and 2 Rebellion. Probably I would just cut 1 Rebellion because I almost never go to the second one. I would just reshuffle this guy on the extra deck with its effect to get a Mirror Jade. But it's actually a good way to not miss the chain. I don't think it's a problem, but the main reason that I'm running 2, the logic that makes me run 2 is just because now with the tier elements and some other ways to just mill the cards from a deck with it, it's just a good way to have a way to get the cards from the graveyard or banishment to the deck, just for you don't deck out. And the reason that I'm saying this is because I'm running 1 Alba Lenatus. So well, imagine the way that a situation that I have almost all my cards on the graveyard or banished, or there's a lot of dragons actually. So with Rebellion I could just send 1 follow Albas, and the other dragons that are banished, they are in my graveyard to my deck, and then get a Alba Lenatus, and I have grown my deck again, because in the end it just helps me to not deck out. That's the main reason that I'm running 2. So that was the branded engine. Now the Despia, I have 1 Queries, 1 Masquerade, and 1 Proscanion. I would like to run 2 Masquerades, because it's a really good card and really annoying card for the opponent. Being able to ping 1200 every time an effect just activates is insane. The Proscenium is here because it's a good card, but probably I would just change it to another Masquerade Win and get the hands one. And Query is because it's a really nice card. Its second effect is really insane because it just let me just read. This card face up in its owner's control leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect. You can add it to your hand or special summon Father of Albas or one Despia monster from your deck. So it's really nice because if this guy just go to the graveyard or it's destroyed by any means or by a card effect, I could just special summon a Dramaturge or special summon another Lubber and just continue or just have a negate on the field. It's a really good card. And the first effect, it's really insane as well because it just drops all the attacks to 0. Let's move on to let me see the super poly targets. So okay, I just forgot. I have one Titaniclad as well. Well, a Titaniclad just saved me sometimes in some games because it could just not be destroyed by card effects. Actually, it's not affected by card effects. And it could just gain attacks. It could get a 3700 attack. It's a good way to get rid of tower monsters that are below this attack. So it's a really nice card. And it has a way to get a Falling of Arbas from the deck if it's destroyed or gets to the graveyard. So now it's the super poly targets. I have one Dragostapelia, one Starving Venom, one Modragon, and one Garura. Pretty straightforward. I don't know how to pronounce good English. So it's very straightforward. Those are all good cards. Most of the time I would just go for the Dragostapelia and Starving Venom. But I just have a situation that I just special summon the Modragon to help me against some really annoying cards that can target my stuff. Garura, I rarely use it. It's here mostly because it has a good effect as well. I could just draw if it goes to the graveyard, but it's mostly because I could just have a way to remove some cards from the field. It's a complement for it complements the effect of Modragon, the summon conditions of Modragon actually. So it's mostly because of it, and Dragostapelia it's a really good card, especially against Sprite. I didn't see any Sprite in the locals, but it's a good card nonetheless. So let's move on to the side deck. So So for the side deck, I just have a 3 actually Dimension Shifter. This card is a way to go second and just don't lose for Ishizu, for Tiarla, for any other things that is really annoying. And I can just play with it. If it's my turn, I don't see any reason to not add it to my side deck. Um, I have one red reboot because there is I think there is two outlets in my locals, and I just hate outlets. So that's because I have one red reboot in my side. I have two dimension. I don't remember the English name, but yeah, there is. uh, I think it's dimensional. It's not barrage. Well, I don't remember the name in English, but you guys know what this guy does. It's a really good card, especially in the mirror match. If I'm going first, I could just set this card up, and when the guy would just activate the Blended Fusion, I could just do this card, and it's all fine. I have two, I think it's dimensional, not different dimensional grounds. I think that's the name in English. It's a really good card too for going first, because if I can just set this card up in the other turn, the guy couldn't just make the things that it should do. Especially against the Shizu and Tiala. In Molochos there are two guys playing with Tiala, one with Charlie's Shizu and the other with I think, I don't remember now the flavor, but probably now it's Charlie Shizu too. The guy was just building it. So this card is just to help me out with this. So anti-back row, I have two Cosmic Cyclone and one Harpy's Feather Duster, as well as one Lightning Storm. This is because actually in my Lightning Storm has a little misprint. If you can see, there is a border that is greater than the other. Well, I just said that I hate I hate Eldritch, and yeah, I hate Eldritch. So this is a back row hate, mostly because Eldritch and there is a back row rate for some Tiara spells as well. So I have 4 slots for the side for my back row hate. Moving on, I have two anti-spell fragrance. This card it harms me as well. That's the reason that I'm running two, and I'm just running on mirror matches or on cards that really needs really relies on spell cards such as Sky Striker or any other matches. The idea for this card is that I have it to when I'm going first, probably on the game tree against one of those decks. It can be a branded deck or it can be a Sky Striker deck, and then I could just set this card up, and on the standby phase of it, I just reveal it, and it locks especially the Sky Striker. It locks some cards that the Sky Striker have. Not all of them, because most of the cards are quick spell cards. And the last card is a one. I don't remember the name of this card in English, but I think it's a Dark Imprisoning Mirror or Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. I don't remember. This guy is insane against tier elements. It shuts down the effects of the fusion using the fusion on the graveyard. It harms me as well because I have some dark monsters that triggers its effects on the field, such as Magnamut and Alober and Arbas, but I can. It's a little. It's not so it harms me, but not so. There's not a problem with it. I can just get along with this card in the field. Because I have Lubellion, I have some cards that can do some stuff as well. I could just make a Branded Fusion with to make Albion, and then with the Albion I could just make another fusion that could be a beat stick if I want. There's not a problem. It charms more tier elements because it relies on some shenanigans on the graveyard. Well, that was the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys liked it. There is a lot of things that I would like to add. Well, probably the 2 Magnemats on the main. It would be nice too to have. I don't know if I would just add more Bystials. Probably one more Drusworm, or add some more Graveyard Hate. There's 2 Tiara players that are really good in the locals that I'm just a little afraid of, but I think with the Bystials in the main deck are actually fine now. I just really don't know if it would be, if I would need more Graveyard Hate, but I think that's a thing that I could try when I'm going to a locals this Saturday, so it's a chance to play with the deck and see how it goes. But yeah, that's the deck. Thanks for watching, and I hope see you guys soon.